There is a quiet instruction that carries more power than 1,000 storms. It is not a call to fight harder, not a call to run faster, not a command to prove yourself stronger. It is a whisper, gentle yet unshakable, be still. The world around you demands movement, constant striving, endless noise. It tells you that your worth is in your speed, your success, your visible progress. Yet in the sacred silence, there is a different truth, one that cannot be heard when the mind is racing. Be still, and you will know that the strength you have been chasing is already within you. Stillness is not weakness. It is the courage to stop forcing what cannot be forced, to stop clinging to what must be released, to stop running from the very lessons your soul is asking you to face. To be still is to surrender, not in defeat, but in trust. Trust that the moment holds more than enough. Trust that what is meant for you cannot be taken away. Trust that there is a wisdom beyond your control and it is already at work in your life. Imagine a river flowing swiftly. On the surface, the current is strong, carrying leaves, branches, and everything it touches. But if you dive beneath the surface just a little deeper, there is calm. The stillness exists beneath the chaos. So it is with you. Your life may look turbulent on the outside, but within you is a deeper stream, untouched, unmoved, unshaken. Be still long enough and you will find it. The instruction to be still is not about inaction. It is about alignment. When the archer draws back his bow, there is a moment of stillness before release. Without that pause, without that silence, with the arrow cannot fly straight. Your life requires the same. If you are always rushing, always forcing, always speaking, you miss the power that comes from pausing, from breathing, from listening. In stillness, direction becomes clear. In stillness, strength is renewed. Consider the seed buried in the ground. It does not force its growth. It does not push the soil aside with impatience. It remains still, hidden, unseen. But within that stillness, transformation is happening. Roots are spreading, strength is building, and at the right time, it breaks through the surface into the light. If the seed resisted its stillness, it would never reach its destiny. And so it is with you. The moments where nothing seems to happen are the very moments where everything is being prepared. Be still when fear tells you to panic. Be still when doubt tells you to run. Be still when impatience tells you it is already too late. Because stillness is where clarity speaks. Fear is loud, doubt is noisy, impatience is restless, but truth whispers in the silence. And if you can quiet yourself enough, you will hear it. There is power in the pause between your breaths. When you inhale, when you exhale, and when you hold, there is life in that space. Be still in that space, and you will feel the presence of something greater than yourself. This presence does not shout, it waits. It does not demand, it invites. It does not rush, it reminds you that nothing eternal is ever hurried. The storms of life often rise suddenly. Waves crash, winds howl, and everything seems uncertain. But even the fiercest storm cannot erase the truth of stillness. In the eye of the storm, there is perfect calm. You do not need to control the winds. You need to find the eye, and that eye exists within you. No storm outside can shake the calm you cultivate inside. You have spent years striving, pushing, trying to prove yourself. You have fought battles, carried burdens, endured losses. But there is a time when strength is not found in pushing harder, but in releasing. Release the need to control outcomes. Release the weight of what you cannot change. Release the timeline you thought your life should follow. In that release, stillness becomes possible, and in that stillness, peace flows in like a river. Many people confuse stillness with waiting idly, but there is a difference. Waiting can be restless, filled with frustration and doubt. Stillness is intentional. Stillness is an act of faith. It says, I may not see the answer yet, but I trust that it is already unfolding. I may not have the solution now, but I trust the solution is already on its way. I may not understand today, but I trust that understanding will come. This is not weakness. It is strength born from surrender. Think of a warrior before battle. He sharpens his sword, he steadies his breath, he stills his mind. In that stillness, he becomes unshakable. It is not the noise of fear that wins wars, it is the calm clarity of a mind at peace. In the same way, when you learn to be still, you carry a strength that nothing can break. You are not swayed by the chaos of the crowd, not driven by the fear of the unknown, not chained by the weight of the past. You move from a place of centeredness, and that makes you unmovable. Sometimes being still means letting others rush past you. Letting opportunities you thought you needed slip away, letting moments unfold without your interference. That is difficult because everything in you wants to act, to speak, to fix, to force. But when you resist that urge and remain still, you learn that what is truly yours will never pass you by. You learn that not every door needs to be opened by your hands, because some doors open on their own. Stillness is the soil where wisdom grows. When the water of a lake is stirred, it becomes cloudy and you cannot see the bottom. But when it is still, it becomes clear. Your mind is the same. In constant motion, clarity disappears. In stillness, truth becomes visible. If you want to see where you are meant to go, if you want to hear what you are meant to do, you must quiet the noise until the water clears. To be still is to honor the present. Too often, you live in the shadows of yesterday or in the anxieties of tomorrow. Stillness pulls you back to now, the only place where life exists. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not yet here. Only this breath, this heartbeat, this moment. In the stillness of now, you find freedom. There are treasures hidden in silence that cannot be found in noise. There are answers that cannot be heard in the rush of constant motion. There are doors that only open when you stop knocking. Be still and you will find them. Be still and you will see that you were never without guidance, never without strength, we never without purpose. Even nature teaches this truth. The mountain does not move, yet rivers carve valleys around it. The stars do not rush, yet they guide travelers across oceans. The tree does not chase the sun, yet it grows towards its light. Stillness is not emptiness, it is power resting in trust. And so, when the world tells you to run, to fight, to fear, remember this instruction: be still. For in that stillness, you will discover that the battle is not always yours to fight. The answers are not always yours to force, and the timing is not always yours to control. In stillness, you return to your center. In stillness, you find peace that does not break. In stillness, you are reminded that the most powerful movement often begins with no movement at all. There are moments in your life when you will feel the urgency to act, when everything within you demands that you take control, fix the situation, and force the outcome. But often that urgency is born not of wisdom, but of fear. And fear drives you into places you were never meant to go, burdening you with weights you were never meant to carry. This is why the call to be still is so vital, because it cuts through the noise of fear and reminds you that peace does not come by rushing, it comes by resting. Resting in trust, resting in faith, resting in the quiet assurance that what is meant for you cannot be taken, and what is not meant for you cannot be forced to stay. To be still is not to abandon action altogether. It is to learn the difference between action that arises from panic and action that arises from clarity. When you move from panic, you scatter your energy, chasing after shadows. When you move from clarity, every step becomes deliberate, every word becomes precise, every action carries power. And clarity is born in stillness. It is in the quiet moments when you pause to breathe, when you choose not to rush, when you allow silence to surround you, that the path ahead becomes visible. Imagine a sculptor working with a block of stone. Every strike of the chisel must be measured and purposeful. If he rushes, he risks breaking the very shape hidden within. So he pauses often, stilling his hand, stepping back to see what is forming. That pause, that stillness, is what allows the masterpiece to emerge. Your life is no different. The pauses, the stillness, with the waiting. It is not wasted time. It is the space in which the masterpiece of your life is being revealed. In stillness, you meet yourself more honestly. The noise of the world can drown out your inner voice, burying it beneath layers of doubt and distraction. But when you are still, you begin to hear again. You hear the whispers of your heart, the unspoken longings, the truths you have tried to ignore. Stillness does not lie to you. It shows you who you are, where you are, and what you carry. It may not always be comfortable to face, but it is necessary, because only when you face yourself honestly can you move forward with strength. There will be those around you who do not understand the power of being still. They will interpret your quiet as weakness, your patience as passivity, your trust as naivete. But what they cannot see is that your stillness is strength held in reserve. Like the lion crouching low in the grass before its leap, your stillness is not a sign of defeat, but of wisdom. You know that timing matters. You know that rushing without direction leads only to wasted energy. You know that the greatest power often lies in waiting until the right moment. In nature, everything has its season. The earth itself moves in rhythms of growth and rest, sowing and harvest, motion and stillness. The ocean waves surge forward and then retreat. The moon waxes and wanes. The breath enters and leaves. Life itself is a dance of movement and stillness. To resist stillness is to resist the very balance of life. But when you embrace it, you align yourself with the deeper rhythm that holds everything together. You may find yourself in seasons where nothing seems to change, where all your efforts produce no visible results. where your prayers echo back to you in silence. In those times, it is easy to grow restless, to believe you have been forgotten, to abandon the stillness and rush toward anything that promises relief. But it is in those silent seasons that the deepest work is often being done. Just because you cannot see growth does not mean it is not happening. Just because you cannot hear an answer does not mean one is not being prepared. Stillness asks you to trust what you cannot yet see. Think of the potter's wheel. Clay is shaped not only by the force of the hands, but by the pauses, the gentle stillness between movements, the moments when the hands simply rest, allowing the clay to settle into its new form. If the potter rushed, the vessel would collapse. But with patience, with stillness, the vessel emerges strong and beautiful. Your spirit is that clay, and your seasons of stillness are not wasted. They are shaping you into a vessel that can carry what is to come. There is a kind of strength that only comes when you stop running. Many people move through life in constant motion, yet they are not moving forward. They are only running in circles. They mistake activity for progress. They confuse business with purpose, but stillness breaks that cycle. It gives you the courage to stop running long enough to see where you truly are. It allows you to step out of the circle and onto the path that leads forward. Being still is also about learning to listen. The world is filled with voices, opinions, demands, judgments, expectations. They pull at you, telling you who you should be, what you should do, how you should live. But in stillness, those voices fade and another voice emerges, a voice that is softer but deeper, quieter but truer. It is the voice of wisdom, the voice of guidance, the voice that has been waiting for you to be silent enough to hear it. Stillness teaches you patience, and patience is the soil where resilience grows. Patience does not mean doing nothing. It means doing what you can and trusting what you cannot control. It means planting seeds and giving them time to grow, we knowing that forcing them will not bring fruit any faster. It means understanding that the most meaningful things in life cannot be rushed. Healing, growth, transformation, love. They all take time, and stillness allows that time to unfold without resistance. Even in conflict, stillness carries power. When anger rises around you, when voices are raised and tempers flare, stillness can disarm what words cannot. A calm presence can silence chaos. A quiet response can end an argument. A still heart can transform the energy of a room. Stillness is not passive, it is active strength, a force that shifts the atmosphere without force. With the call to be still is also a call to trust the process. Too often, you want the ending before the beginning has taught you its lessons. You want the harvest without the planting, the answers without the questions, the victory without the battle. But the process matters, and stillness allows you to walk through it with grace. It teaches you that life is not only about reaching the destination, but about being present on the journey. There is beauty in the simplicity of stillness. When you sit in silence, you notice the sound of your own breath with the rhythm of your heartbeat, the subtle movements of life around you. Things that seemed ordinary become extraordinary. A leaf trembling in the wind, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the stillness of the night sky. All remind you that peace does not need to be created. It already exists, waiting for you to notice it. Stillness also has the power to heal. Wounds that are constantly reopened by motion cannot close. But when you are still, when you give yourself the space to rest, to breathe, to simply be, healing begins. Emotional wounds, mental fatigue, physical exhaustion, all are soothed in the silence. In stillness, the broken places begin to knit back together, and the weight you carried begins to lighten. The wisdom of being still is timeless. Generations before you have learned it, generations after you will learn it. It is a truth that transcends culture, time, and place. The power you seek is not always in doing more, but in doing less. It is in being fully present, fully aware, fully at peace in this moment. For when you are still, you discover that you are not empty, you are already whole. You are not lost, you are exactly where you need to be. So when the storms rise, when the noise overwhelms, when your own thoughts threaten to drown you, remember the whisper, be still. For in the stillness, you are not alone. In the stillness, you are not powerless. In the stillness, you are exactly where strength, peace, and clarity are found. And so, when you look back on the long path of your life, you will see that the moments of stillness were never wasted. They were sacred pauses where strength was being renewed, where clarity was being born, and where your spirit was being aligned with something greater than you could understand. What felt like silence was preparation. What felt like waiting was growth. What felt like emptiness was the quiet filling of your soul. The storms will always come, the noise will always rise, and the demands of this world will never cease. But if you carry within you the courage to be still, you will discover that no storm can uproot you, no noise can distract you, and no demand can bend you from the truth of who you are becoming. In that stillness, you will find peace, and in that peace, you will find the strength to rise, to walk forward with grace, and to live with the unshakable certainty that you are guided, protected, and held every step of the way